Hello guys and welcome to my channel. For this tutorial, we're going to make a simple retrieving of records from your MySQL databases. Okay? As simple as that. Okay, let's start. Okay, all we need to do or all we need is first is your MySQL server, your working PHP server, and together your Codeigniter. Okay, if you haven't yet downloaded or set up your server, and you can just go to my first tutorial, the tutorial one, which is available already on my YouTube channel. Okay, second is we need to create a database named demo and search. So we will going to log in now to our or to um, my SQL server. Okay, and then it says that we should have to name it into demo and search. So we will going to create a new schema or a database named demo underscore insert. So this should be our schema, and then apply, and then apply. So it's apply changes to demo insert. So we already have now our database, which is the demo inserts. So next step is we need to create a table named employee. It's because we're going to create a sample listing of an employee. Okay, so we will go into name our table into employee, and then next is this table must have the following fields, which are the following: employee ID, the last name, the first name, and the middle name. So we were going to create here. So first is the employee score ID, and the data type we will going to set this one into int, and then it should be the primary key and not null, and it should be auto increment. But if you don't want to make it auto increment, and then it's up to you. Yeah, but for this demo tutorial, I am just going to auto increment this field. Okay, next is the employee last name, then varchar 45. Okay, and then followed by the first name, same with the last name. Its data type which should be varchar 45, and then there should be a middle name, same with the following, with these two, varchar 45, and then that's all set up, and then apply and apply. So now if we were going to refresh this our database under table, here is the employee table, and if we are going to open that one, we can see that there are already 4 columns, which are named employee ID, last name, first name, and middle name. Okay, and then it's still empty is because we haven't added yet some information. So let's add some information here. Last name will be Doe John G, middle name is G, and then next is um, New Mark and M, and then Dalton Sydney Z. Okay, these are sample records only. Okay, so apply, and here it goes. We already have 3 records found in our table employee. So the next step will be creating a folder in the root directory named demo insert. So we will going to go to our demo or our root directory, which under application, under our server amps. Okay, if you're using WAMP, and then it should be in the www, And then if you're going, or if you're using a sump, and then it should be, or your directory should be at the htdocs. So www, and then we're going to create another folder here named demo underscore insert. Okay, so we already have now our demo insert directory. So next step is download and extract Codeigniter architecture into your newly created folder. If you haven't downloaded yet your Codeigniter architecture framework, and then you can download that one at www.codeigniter.com downloads. Okay, you can download either of the two newly released updates of the Codeigniter. And then you're going to extract that one, and then copy that copy and paste that extracted file, or those extracted um, should I say those files inside those extracted folder into your root directory. So in my case, I have already downloaded mine, and it should be here, installers Codeigniter, and then I have to copy this one to our working directory, which is here, www demo insert here, and then this one, paste. So that's it. So next is try to access the project. Okay, we will going to try to access the project folders because we have to know if it is running or not, or it is accessible or not. So let's try. Open your browser and try to navigate to your localhost, or if you're using a 127.0.0.1 or any IP address that could locate your server, and then use the one. Okay, we have here, in my case I have localhost. So let's find, okay, demo insert. So it is already running. Demo insert. As you can see, if you can see this one, if you can see this page, upon accessing your newly created project, and then it indicates that everything is fine, everything is working. Okay. So next steps is create a controller named employee.php and code. So in this part, we need to open our text file editor. Okay, if you are using Notepad, and then you can use that one, but in my case, I am using my Sublime. Okay, because it is too easy to write my codes in this type of text file editor. Demo insert. So you have to navigate first to your working directory. Okay, so it is said in our instructions that we have to create a controller named employee.php, is because we're going, or we are retrieving a list of record of employee, so therefore it should be named employee. Okay, new file, so save this one. Okay, file, save as, and then the should name is employee.php. Okay, so that controllers employee.php. Okay, so next is we have to um, write line of code in our employee.php, but for this demo purposes I have already a reference code for this one, which is this one. So php, and then save code. Okay, we have a employee controller employee.php, and now under controller employee.php we have a class named employee. Okay, and under that class we have a public function index, which we have this inside this method. Okay, later on I am going to explain to you what are the um, functions of this line of codes. So next is we need to create a view named DSP employee list. So we have to navigate to our view, and we have to create another file named you have to save this one first before we can rename this one. DSP underscore employee underscore list dot php. Okay, again, said that we have to write a line of code to this one. Again, I have already write some reference for that. This one. So let's copy and paste this one. Later on, I am going to explain to you what does these lines of codes means and what are their uses. Okay. Next is create a model named employee.php. So we are done with our controller. We are done creating our view. So next steps is we need to create our model. So we need to create our model and file save as mdl underscore employee. Oh, sorry. Employee.php and save. Okay. Again, we have to write a line of code for this one. MDL, copy, paste, and then save. Okay, that's it. Okay. Now we have already created our controller, our view, and our model. So this time, we were going to configure all those that needs configuration. Okay, it's because if we were not going to configure our config, and then later on it might cause some errors when we're going to run our project. So first is we need to view the auto loads. So since we are not using a URI, okay, we are not using a library, so drivers, helper, so let's just add here the URL, okay, and then config language model. So we have here, we will going to put here our model, which is the name of our model is mdl underscore employee. Okay, that's it. And then next is we're going to set our routes. In our project here, in current project, our current route is the welcome. This is the welcome controller, which is default in Codeigniter upon extracting. And then we want to change this one into employee list, that so that if we were going to visit the project and then we can see directly the list. Okay? We can see all the list of the records directly. So how to do that one? Here in routes, under application, config, routes, we need to change this default controller into employee. Okay? Be sure that if you're going to rename this one and then your controller is already exist, or else it could cause later an error. So we are done with that one. So next is um, the config. So the config is this one. So we have here the HTTP localhost slash demo underscore insert. So that's it. And just leave it. Okay, that's good for now. And then the database. So since we were going to connect to our database, and then it is necessary that we have to configure first the connection between our Codeigniter and the database. So how to do that one? So if you are not yet configure, or if you are not yet familiar with this one, and then you can go back to my tutorial one. Okay, but in this case, we'll just configure this one as is 127.0.1, since I am using this IP, and then the username is admin. Oh, sorry, admin, and the password is admin, and then the name of our database is the same with our project folder name, which is demo underscore insert. Okay, and save, and that's good for now. So next is, since we have already created or configured our config folder, so let's try um, exploring this controller. So we have here a public function, index, and then it has 4 lines of code, which is this one: data array employee array. Okay, data array of employee, this MDL, which is this MDL employee is our model, and we have here the model function get employee list. Okay, next is this built-in MySQL function, because we want to close this connection first in order for us to proceed this one. Is because if we're not going to close this connection, we will get some error, or we will get a error while executing this one. Okay, I have already tried that one, and then it really caused me a lot of pain. And then we will going to call our view, which is DSP employee underscore list, and then we will going to pass the data array, which consists of the employee and the employee count. Okay, so let's go now to our model. So we have here our model. Okay, we have here our model. Model name is MDL employee, and under that model we have a class MDL employee, and under that class we have two functions, which is the get employee list and the get employee count. Okay, so get employee list is we were going to call a procedure here, or a MySQL stored procedure, PR employee list, and then after that, if it is returned a number of records which is greater than 0, and then we will going to pass that one in our controller, and we will going to display that one. But for this time, we will going first to write a code of our employee list. So let's navigate to our MySQL, create a stored procedure here, which is BR employee list. Again, I have already created a reference for that. So I have here this one. I'll just copy this one. Okay. From employee, which is our table, and we have 4 columns to retrieve. Okay, basically employee ID, the last name, the first name, and the middle name of the employee. Apply and apply. Okay. We are done with the first stored procedure. Okay, for this one. The next is we need to count all the records for employees, because we want to know if there are still employee, or if the employee does not exist, and then we're going to return 0, and then if not, and then we're going to return all the number of employee. Okay, so we're going to configure this one, or we're going to create a new stored procedure. Okay, and then employee count, employee count, paste, no, and apply. So we are done with that. So we are already done with our model, this one, and our um, controller. So we will now going to our view to our list. So I have here my HTML, and I have already copy paste this one, the CSS library and other jQuery, and then I have here a inline CSS, and then this one. So I have here a line of code here, this one. Okay, so employee list, I have 4 columns, and then if is array, I am going to check if the employee returned value are array, and then if yes, and then I am going to display that in 4. I am going to loop, and then employee as rows, and then this one. Okay, each object, okay, the object of employee ID, object variable of first name, and then that's it. And then I have here the actions update and delete. So if this returned false, and then I am going to display this one, no record found, if there is no records available in our database. So the purpose of employee count is this one: if there are still existing, or there are existing records in our database, and then we're going to display a total of records found in our database. Okay, so that's it. So let's try running this program, or let's try running our project. Okay, employee DB. Okay, so I think we forgot something. Libraries, I think. Okay, let's add here the database under config and output of our program. Okay, we have here Jan, Mark, Sydney, John Doe, Mark New, and Sydney Dalton, and together with their middle name. So a total of 3 records found. So it is correct. Our program is correct. It's because in our database we have 3 existing records, which are this one. And we have here an action update and delete, but we will going to make it that in the next video tutorial. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you for watching and listening, and please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel, and then again watch out for more videos to come. Thank you and goodbye.